What makes a perfect charter yacht? Is it the opulence of the interiors? Is it the professionalism of the crew? Or is it the sensational cruising ground that she frequents? I met up with one of the world's top charter managers, Adam Fitzmaurice, to take a look at one of the world's most successful charter yachts called Milestone. So, Adam, profile of a perfect charter yacht. And
Wow.
you wanted me to see Milestone to see a perfect yacht. Why did you choose this yacht?
Well, she's been incredibly successful, to be perfectly honest. And I think I wanted to try and showcase a vessel that offers so many different attributes. And I thought this was a great option.
How much do you think the interior design of a yacht influences the charter? Because, you know, I've just been to the Monaco Yacht Show. There's all these fancy Italian interiors full of all kinds of stuff. How much importance do you think that has on how much you enjoy the charter?
Honestly, I think it's huge, and it's much more about setting that emotional connection, that kind of feeling as you enter the boat and you spend time on board. I think there's a really big difference between buying a boat and chartering a boat. For me, chartering is all about families and feeling comfortable and feeling relaxed and, you know, being able to snuggle into the couch and watch a movie and put your drink down without being overly concerned about marking. And these lovely white, comfortable couches. But the team on board really want you to enjoy it. And I think that you feel this kind of connection throughout the boat.
Yeah, especially if you've got children, because you don't want to be saying, don't touch that.
100%.
What about the surroundings? Because we've just arrived by tender and it's stunning here. How much does the itinerary influence the charter?
It's as important an element as any of the other experiences. Whilst we love to travel and love to see lots of different islands, most importantly is comfort. Especially when you're traveling with people of different ages. You want them to be relaxed, finding comfortable little bays with, you know, beautiful vistas, calm, clear waters. It's so important. It really can make or break a trip.
So we're in the BVIs.
Correct.
Because we have been in the USVIs.
Correct.
So sometimes
Yes.
it's confusing. Why is this such a popular charter destination, do you think?
Well, the BVIs is perfect for cruising. There's probably 30 decent anchorages for a yacht of this size. So depending on the weather conditions, there's always somewhere where you can move to find that calm anchorage. No one wants to be bucketing around. I mean, even on a yacht like this with 0-speed stabilizers, nobody wants to be rocking side to side and nobody wants to, you know, be limited in enjoying the water sport. So having a great location with lots of options is so important.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
And that couldn't have been better timing, because I was about to ask you, what about the crew? How much does the crew influence the success of a charter?
Again, thank you very much. In my opinion, honestly, I think crew is probably the most important element. The yacht is an incredible starting point for a vacation. But it's the level of service. You know, the lovely Rory just brought us these coffees in. The attentiveness, the ability for the crew to adapt and to really grasp what's important to you, play with your children, interact with you on that kind of perfect level. It really is vital.
Yeah, and on the subject of children, actually, I know that captain, Vince, has got his children on board
He
for
does.
the photo shoot and for the video shoot. How do you think the crew feel about that when they have very young children on board?
I think they love having different types of charters, and every single charter is unique in its own way. So I think having kids is a great look. It brings a whole energy to the boat, and it means the crew get to adapt and do different things too.
Captain Vince is very much a part of the boat, isn't he? I mean, it's not like he's here today, might not be here tomorrow. He's very much a part of the program.
100%.
How much do you think that has been a part of the success of Milestone?
I think it's key. We often say to owners in our fleet, or owners who are wanting to bring yachts into the charter fleet, you know, having a great captain is like hiring a CEO for a company. It's probably the most important decision they will make, because they build the team, they create the ethos and the energy on board, and without a doubt, Vince has driven the success of Milestone from the very get-go.
Great, and we'll be having lunch with him later, so I'm looking forward to talking to him as well.
Absolutely.
And talking of the captain, Adam and I enjoyed lunch on board Milestone with Captain Vince Lauro, and I took the opportunity to ask him about the charter experience on board.
You know?
The flavour in that is incredible.
The ginger is just delicious.
So I'm going to call the video Profile of a Perfect Charter Yacht. What I was hoping from you is that you can tell us about the activities that that people enjoy. So let's start with what we do now, the dining. How do you ensure that people are going to enjoy a good experience, culinary experience on board?
Culinary, I mean, you know, chefs are a huge part of the charter. You know, you really have to rely on them. And chefs are pretty dynamic people, you know, and it's not only whether they can put out a great meal, it's whether they can interact well with the guests. It's how they do with the crew, how hygienic they are. Locking down a great chef and looking after them and making sure that they're getting adequate time off between trips so that they can, you know, keep going.
And he always seems to have a smile on his face, doesn't he, the chef?
Yeah.
On board.
I mean, I have to say, I have to back up Vince's comments there about the chef and the importance of them not just being amazing at making beautiful food, and this is stunningly tasty, but also all of the other elements, being a good crew member. I mean, it was great today when we joined the yacht, we saw the chef on deck participating in, you know, helping us find this beautiful spot. So I think having someone who's prepared to really be a team member is so important. It must be difficult to find.
I can go to a Michelin star restaurant and get the best chef in the world, and he will be the worst yacht chef in the world. You know, it is a totally different game.
Do you get the chef involved with beach barbecues as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The chef's always out there.
Tell me about
Sweating over
the
barbecue.
beach barbecue experience.
In the Caribbean in particular, compared to somewhere like the Mediterranean, you know, we have so many great beaches to choose from, and I do think it's a really nice thing to offer for the guests, whether it be a picnic lunch or full-on, you know, American barbecue on the beach, or whether it's an intimate dinner on the beach. You know, we kind of do it all out there. And it's great. It's a really neat experience, and it switches things up a little bit. All these boats are beautiful, white, big, one's nicer than the next. I will say it comes down to the crew. You know, the crew interactions are what bring our repeat clients back. And I will say 60% of our guests are repeat clients every year. And of course, Adam's constantly bringing us new guests. But repeats are great.
We've had your daughters on board on the few days we've been filming. Do you get a lot of clients bringing children?
Yeah, we get a lot of kids, even down to really young kids. This boat's laid out really well as far as safety goes. There's not a lot of open handrails where kids can fall off. So I always promote it for a very good family-friendly boat. And also, I think the nicest thing about chartering is seeing 3 generations on a trip. Grandparents, parents, and grandkids. You know, you go to a resort, the grandkids are off. You know, the grandparents might see them once at the dinner for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Here, the grandparents are watching everything. All the toys off the back of the boat, the kids zipping around on the jet skis, watching them go scuba diving for the first time, going down the slide. They can get involved or stay uninvolved, but still be able to watch and participate in a way that's, comfortable for them.
Another thing that you do very well is the diving experiences. For somebody who has zero experience in diving, what's the process? How do you teach?
Similar to what we did with you today. I mean, we don't make a huge fuss about it. Most of our guests are not certified. We get them snorkeling after day one, get them comfortable in the water. By the end of the trip, I typically try and get almost all of our guests on every charter to try scuba. And then it all of a sudden snowballs and, oh, can we do that again? That was amazing. And similar to your reaction today, scuba shouldn't be scary. And to a lot of people, it seems like going to the moon. It's really not. I mean, we get to dive right off the back of the boat in absolute perfect conditions. It couldn't be a better place to try something completely out of the ordinary for you. I mean, I'm a huge water sports fanatic, so I love it all, and so I'm shopping all the time and figuring out what's the newest and greatest, and we pretty much have it all. I can't think of a toy that we don't have.
So what do you have?
So foil boards, we have 4 e-foil boards. We've got standard foil boards where we tow behind the boat. That's kind of the new, really unique toy that's out right now. That e-foil is spectacular. Of course, we've got 3 jet skis. We have a stand-up jet ski, which is quite fun for especially the older folks who grew up on stand-up jet skis, who definitely haven't ridden them in 30 years. And then they're like, oh, I know how to do this. And you get to watch them learn all over again. And, they're showing their kids something that their kids have probably never seen because they're outdated at this point, but still loads of fun. So the e-foils are, the stand-up jet ski and jet skis. We've got 4 sea bobs. Of course, the giant slide off the side, that's always a blast. Parents and adults tend to have more fun with it than the kids do, even though everyone thinks it's for the kids. The adults love it. The giant pool, which we have so many different activities that you can do from it, whether it be water polo, the gladiator fighting. We have a shallow end that we put out. Yeah, that's a blast. We will do that. A shallow end where the kids can play. It's a nice netted safety net area. We use all these things and we do Olympics or relay races with the crew and the guests involved. Huge hit.
By this time in the conversation, we had already benefited from Vince's amazing local knowledge. So I asked him for an example of a dream 1-week itinerary.
In a week itinerary, we can easily start in St. Martin, do a day or 2 in St. Bart's, run the downwind trip, which is typically pretty easy, hit the BVIs and end in St. Thomas, and you have a hugely diverse 7-day itinerary. From the finest of St. Bart's to the remote anchorages of the BVIs to the ease of flying out of the Virgin Islands and being back in the US. I mean, it's very ideal.
It was a fascinating conversation with Vince, so much so that I'll publish the full unedited version in a separate video. But I wanted to conclude the video by talking to Adam on a beautiful, tiny island nearby called Sandy Spit. The crew made sure that we would be comfortable there. I wonder sometimes if people don't charter because they just don't know what the procedure is. Because sitting here on this beach, on this island with you, I can't imagine why somebody would not want to do this if they have the financial means to do so. Absolutely. I can only imagine they're not sure how to. So if somebody wanted to charter Milestone, what would be the procedure?
I think, look, the most important thing is to be a little bit cautious. We're talking about, it's a lot of money, as you said, not something you can afford. I can't afford it either. But I think what's the most important thing to do is do a little bit of research, do some education, but really and truly you've got to find somebody that you trust. In our line of work, we call it the charter broker. You know, a charter broker is your guide to the entire process. They're the person that you're going to go to for not just a selection of beautiful yachts, but also the crew. What is important to you? Is it, you know, is it multi-generational? Are you bringing your kids? Do they love water sports? Are they excited about exploring? Or do you look for a more quiet, peaceful, relaxing trip? And one of the joys of our industry is there's something for everybody. So finding a broker is not always the easiest thing. We always say, you know, do try and talk to friends who've done it in the past. Obviously here at Northrop & Johnson, we've got some incredible brokers like myself that have worked in the industry. We've worked on the boats. We've lived in some of these incredible spaces. And we want to be that guide through the process for you. I mean, we're really lucky to be in the Virgin Islands here. Captain Vince lives in St. Thomas. So Milestone, I think, is not completely unusual, but certainly is a little bit of an exception, that we're getting a locals guide. I mean, we're sitting here just off Little Jos van Dijk on sandy spit, which is literally a spit of sand, 150 square yards, in the perfect anchorage, because Vince knew exactly where to bring us today.
Yeah. And as we were filming, it was interesting that he was watching the weather and saying, why don't we film over there? And then when the weather changed, he goes, you know what? That's not going to be the best place.
For sure.
Best place is going to be over here. And it's just made for such a good experience filming on board.
And I hope that's a little bit of an insight to what it would be like on a charter. There's things that you need to worry about, right? And there's conversations that you have and input you have with your captain. But also you need to put the faith in their knowledge.
Final words for viewers who are sitting on the fence. They've had the financial means, but it's like, should I keep the money in the bank? Should I invest it? Should I buy another property? What about
the emergency fund?
The emergency fund. What was your words of wisdom for them?
Look, I can understand the reticence, but I would say one of the lessons that we learned from COVID is that time is the one commodity none of us can control. And time spent with friends and family in an environment where you have 3 meals a day, you swim together, you hike together. There's really nothing like yachting. All I can say is do it. Really trust in the process. Find a broker that you really have that confidence in. But go ahead and enjoy it. Create those memories for your children. Create those memories for your grandchildren. I promise, sitting here on this incredible spot, looking at the view as the sun's going down and a fire at our feet, it's second to none. It truly is.
Thanks, Adam. It's been an absolute blast.
Pleasure.